Thanks for listening to Curious Cat, the podcast that examines a shadowy space where science and the supernatural collide. I'm your host, Jennifer Oates. Join me every week as I explore what it means to be a soul in a meat suit. Welcome to Curious Cat. Okay, this week is so super special. First of all, we're on episode 2 of season 4. Yay. The second thing, I'm just going to remind you that we have a new feature where I'm looking at the weirdest headlines of the week and I'm going to read them off, and that's a segment. So when I say I love you at the end, hang on for a sec because then we get to get weird together, fam. And third, okay, so I'm going to reintroduce you. If you've been with me since season 1, then you got to hear their voice and, we talked about tarot and other things. But today we're talking about manifesting and art. They just started their own business that I have the links to in the show notes, but I don't want to tell you about that. Let them tell you about that. They are the artists behind my podcast art, and that's phenomenal. The Cascadia art that is mind-blowing, and solsticeeve.co online. You will find their art. I've got the links. Did I totally mess it up? Welcome to the show, Nora.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, it's so fun to be here having this conversation with you. So many times we have been on the phone and it's always so fun. We get into like deep subjects. We're like talking about life and our experiences and spirituality. And we're like, damn, like that would be cool in a podcast. And then we never, we never circle back.
I know, we never circle back. And we always mean to. And then on top of it, I always wish I had a notepad. So
yeah, me too.
Right?
I know.
When I've done readings with Karen Rontowski, that's the same feeling. Is like, why didn't I type like in person, like right when she was giving me this download, this information? So I've learned better to have a notebook. But with you and me, it's the same thing. And we'll go, wait, that would help other people. And we try to bring it into the real world. I like to think that once we brought up these subjects, that it like has helped the rest of the world manifest it and made it easier for them to receive that information, even if we don't pass it on from our mouth to their ears.
Yeah, we're more consciousness, right, pointed at those concepts and like thinking about that, right? And it always helps me. Like, I know that sometimes I'll bring things to you and, I'm very stuck in a certain perspective with something.
Same.
And like when I bring it to you, it like we can just look at it from a whole new lens. Like you'll bring up a whole new perspective. And I know it changes how I see things to have that, because I think when you're inside of manifestations, when you're inside of like your own world, it's good to meditate. It's good to try to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
But, it can be hard to know your own limitations. It can be hard to know the possibilities you're not even thinking about, or the ways you're already, the things you're seeing as set in stone that aren't, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can be sometimes hard to just know those things. And so to bring it up to someone else, they're instantly going to be like, oh, but that's an assumption. Like, here's like 10 other ways this could be. And with manifestation, it's like, there just also are like parts that are, like the dark night of the soul. Yes. There are times when it's almost like you're tested. I don't know why it works this way. I don't know if it's a mechanic of the game, but like before you're going to make progress, there's always these points where everything is just like raining on your parade. And you need support for that. I know I need support when I'm going through that.
That's so true. I have to say, it's the worst, grittiest part of the game.
Yeah.
It's like having no money in Monopoly, or, being put in jail again,
At the same time.
At the same time, it's all of those things. It's so awful. And you're right. It sometimes takes that outside perspective to go, hey, wait a second. This is a signal that you're really close to pushing out that baby that you're working on. But you need that other person to actually see it that way, because it feels like you're in it forever.
Yeah.
That is so true.
No,
it kind of breaks you out of it.
It does.
It reminds me, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but it reminds me of when you're manifesting, and when you're meditating, and they say to kind of try to picture yourself being above yourself and having that perspective of watching yourself from up above. But another person that you trust and love can give you that perspective in an instant if you're open to it.
That is so neat. No, you're right, because you can't always, get there. Like, sometimes when you're in those dark places, it is even harder, right, to kind of get outside of yourself, to kind of, reach those places in meditation or whatever, but yeah, another person can kind of like help you get back on track. Just, it's like what you said about like the birthing process and how it feels impossible. Like, you told me that just a couple weeks ago when everything was just going wrong for me, and it was like, just hearing that helped me be like, oh wait, maybe this doesn't mean it's the end, because it starts to feel like, okay, the universe is telling me to stop. Like, they're like sending me everything possible that could potentially stop me. It felt like a message. But then I talked to you and you were like, that's part of the process. And it's like, oh yeah, but we need to remind each other of these things sometimes. Like, it's so easy to forget.
It is so easy to forget. And isn't it crazy that sometimes what you learn, you've done this for me, which is such a gift, that I will literally forget that we had a conversation and I shared something with you that helped you in a way, and then you'll give it back to me, and vice versa, I hope. And I'm like, you have done that for me, where it's like, wow, I have to remind you of your advice that you gave me. And I don't know why I have to tell you this right now, but maybe this will help you in some way. And you'll go, whoa, I forgot I said that. And that's what I kind of needed to hear to get me out of this kind of mind prison.
It is so funny because, sometimes it is so, like, the giving back, it is the same lesson. Like, I've done that with you, I've done that with others, where it's like, they teach me something, I have to remind them of it later, or vice versa. It is kind of funny how we're always just,
I know.
Because we're always focused on different things. As consciousness, we get, down these little rabbit holes, and then we forget about other things that we learned or saw.
Well, because I guess we're front loading, and it all, whatever's most recent maybe, or was most relevant, is what's like front loaded.
Yeah.
The other thing that came up when we were just like doing this beginning part, I was reminded of, I don't even remember what the episode was, but do you remember the episode where Jessa Reed is like, okay, you've gone through your shadow, stop going through your shadow. You've done it. You've dug through your stuff. You've done it. Just stop. It's almost like an obsession, like picking a wound. And Dark Night of the Soul feels like the same energy as that.
It can be. I think it's something we have to just like go through. To me, it almost feels like a test.
Yeah.
Like, and this is like me putting my own, like projecting a story onto this.
Yeah, I want to hear your story
though. Yeah, my story is that it's some kind of test to see if you really want that thing. It's like, we're gonna throw obstacles at you. Because, you're so close to getting it, little do you know, but we want to make sure you want it. Do you still want it? So maybe, like, part of me is like, well, maybe it's almost to help you too. It's like, hey, like, if you realize you don't really want it, this is a great time to back out. Like, with me and trying to get into narration, when those things started coming up, I was like, wait, I'm not really passionate about this, and I'm not going to overcome these hurdles. It's not worth that to me. And it actually, like, helped me direct myself back to finding what really was my passion, right?
Yes.
So it actually is very useful.
Clarifying.
It's kind of clarifying. And if you love that thing and these roadblocks are killing you, then it's like, okay, what can I do to get through them? You're gonna find a way if you love it. You're gonna, rally the troops, people in your life. You're gonna reach out to connections. You're gonna figure out what you can do to make it happen. So it's kind of clarifying, like you said.
Where else did you find support during that time?
Wow.
And, what other devices, what other things? And then there's a converse to that. What things the Dark Night of the Soul try to draw you into that would have like kept you in it further?
That's so interesting. Yeah, I feel like I feel like in that place, right? Like the pain body can become activated, because it can be painful, because it felt like I had this thing I was trying to birth. Okay, and this is, I don't know if it's okay for me to make this analogy because I've never been pregnant. I've never gone through this process. But in a much, probably not as bad sense, it almost felt like it was like, if you're pregnant, you care so deeply about this baby that's going to come into the world. You're really attached. You've given it a name. You're setting up your whole life for it, to make space for this baby. And you're really excited. And then the doctor tells you that you might have a miscarriage. Mm-hmm. And I didn't, like, the business still, everything still worked out. But it's like, this was my dream.
Yeah.
And I'd been fostering this dream, and it was so vulnerable. I gave up on this dream ages ago, and I'd finally come back to it. I was finally working on it, and it's been taking, a lot more energy than I ever thought it would, but I'm doing it. And then it was like, oh no, this could all just be rug pulled, was basically the news I was getting. And it felt like, I can't even imagine. I have so much empathy for people who actually go through miscarriages, because if that's just how I felt about my business, like I can't imagine like an actual living being. But it felt just crushing, right? And so there was a lot of pain there. Mm-hmm. And I've been working on trying to reduce my pain body, but it tries to flare up in those moments, right? And come back and tell you that it's you. And so, you know, for me, it tries to draw me into hurting myself and self-harm and things like that. And I don't do that anymore. And it's so cool because I have friends and family. I have friends who I talk to about this. And it's like a support group almost unofficially, where it's like, but I'm not doing it. That's the difference. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like making those choices. So, but it really leaning on support from people, like that was huge. My friends, you and dad, my partner, you know, spending time with my cats and spending time in nature. Like those are the things that actually worked.
And all of those things, like going back to the pain body, because people may not know about Eckhart Tolle and the pain body, because the pain body is like, it's like a poltergeist in a way, because the more energy you give it, the more body it becomes more substantial. Mm-hmm. And so every time you said, no, I'm not feeding you, pain body, because you want me to feed you with these old patterns I used to have. Yep. And instead, I'm doing these things like reaching out to other people, getting, you know, touching my feet to grass and to pine needles, and, you know, petting my cats, taking time and care with my partner, all those things, reaching out to my dear friends and, you know, just sharing time. Then those are literally choking off the pain body. But sometimes with a pain body, it can flare back even more. It becomes its own dark night. It's like a micro dark night of the soul within you.
It is. Because it's like, for people who don't know, it's basically your energy. So you have all this wonderful, good energy, and it can essentially, in these really dark, negative experiences, your energy can almost like, some of it can twist off almost and become negative. Like, I don't know a better way. Like, the book
that's probably a really good visual for it.
And once enough of that exists, right, then it's trying to defend its own existence. And so it'll try to trick you into thinking that it is you. It'll be like, you know, because then it has control over you, and it's going to get you to, you know, do damage to yourself, to others. And I think you're absolutely right. Like, you know, that time in nature, like I was really sad, and I just didn't know what to do with myself. But what I did is I just like took out a picnic blanket, and I just like spread out in the meadow, and I just laid in the meadow, and I was like looking at wildflowers, and I was just crying and stuff. And see, I'd never be able to talk about this before, but it's like, we're human. And I think it's good to acknowledge, you know, it doesn't make you weak to cry or to need a moment to be sad.
It's actually a sign of strength.
It is. Yeah, it's healthy, right?
Like, yes. I mean, that's what I'm sitting across from you, not just as your mother, but as somebody that like loves you like forever. And all I hear is courage and bravery to just walk through the fucking fire. And also the whole image of you, like you going back, it was almost like a younger version of yourself that you reach back to, because spreading out a blanket in the yard was always your happy place.
Yeah.
And no matter what you were doing, and it's like, this is the safest place where I can just let this out. And I know what's receiving it is all of nature around me, and Mother Earth underneath me, and the sky above me. And it's all me. And it's helping me to just spread out the weight of it. I don't know. No, that's magical.
It's healing. It feels
that's
supportive.
Manifesting.
It is. It is. And like, you know, I don't even, you know, sometimes I can be very in tune with nature, but, you know, in that moment, I was just, like, getting through, right?
Yeah.
But, like, it really did feel like, you know, like, the wildflowers and the grasses, like, that feels like a good place to land. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, so if you can get to a park, like, you know, it's tricky because I'm one of those people where I struggle to cry in front of people.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm working on, because people don't know what you're going through. Like, who are they to judge, right? Like, that's what I try to tell myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you can get to a park, like if you can get to anywhere like that, I totally recommend that for those times, because it encourages you to heal, you know, instead of like a sad room, or like, you know, my room where I have a ton of chores, or, you know, whatever, like environments where I can just start to feel crappy about myself for other reasons, or spin out a little bit. Like when you're just in nature, even if you're like in your worst place, you just want to cry, you just feel horrible, you want to go back to all those bad ways of coping, and you're trying not to, it just feels like nature just passively influences you to just not. And it feels like really healing, even if you're not in a place where you feel like you can receive that. I don't know. It kind of blew my mind how effective.
Well, it's like, I swear it relates. So this morning when I was doing my morning minutes, I wasn't planning, it's not my thing to pull an angel card, but I do, like, sometimes I'll have a number pull up or I'll have a name pull up that I don't know. And today I was like looking for a little pouch to put some stones in because I wanted to bring it for us for this podcast. I know, right? And out flies this, one of my soul sister, Molly, has been working on these angel cards. And one of the angel cards is for Archangel Orion. And I'm like, okay, Orion, I see that you're my angel today. And and though Molly has amazing channeling that she got from Orion, what Orion taught me is basically we have everything within and to reach everything we need without. Wow. And so it's like we are celestial, we are of the earth. And he taught me this today. He taught me this 1 minute meditation. And he said, bring stones, as you're looking through the stones, bring stones that represent the earth and the celestial, and have put one in each hand, an earth and a celestial. So for example, like a black obsidian and moldavite, you can have Herkimer diamond in for the celestial, or like clear quartz. And then I don't even know what this one is that you have, Nora. I totally
don't know. I like
forgot.
it.
But it is. It's like this purple amethyst that has kind of this brown, rusty deliciousness.
I know, it's kind of smoky. Like, I have no idea.
But truly, even the stones don't matter. But the idea is that you have one that you feel represents the earth. You can even pick up dirt from the ground.
Oh, that's cool.
And then something from the celestial. You can even reach up and grab the air in your hand. And then hold it in your hand, one in each hand. And then let the magic happen. You don't have to think anything. You don't have to hum anything. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to clear your mind, because it's literally pulling you upright and it's connecting you to the above and to the below. And then he gave me this like drawing that I showed Nora before the podcast. We weren't supposed to talk, but we couldn't help it.
We did.
And we grabbed stones, each of us. And then Nora,
it's great.
How did you describe the drawing?
Oh, it's like a circuit. Like you're just connecting. So it's like if Earth is ground and the celestial is like positive voltage, then you're just plugging yourself into a circuit. And so now all that energy is going to start flowing through you as part of the circuit. And that feels like it's going to just flow all the debris down to ground or up to the celestial, whichever way you want to think about it.
Yeah.
But it feels like it's going to clear you out.
And the beautiful thing is you don't have to think about it for it to do its magic. So when I did it this morning after like Orion gave me this information, which thank you so much for that, I felt lightheaded. And I was kind of just sitting there at the kitchen table alone, and I thought, wow, this feels like, you know how you feel like if you've had too much caffeine kind of thing?
Yeah.
And then it just kind of I kept my feet grounded on the floor of my house, and then it just kind of cleared itself out, and I felt balanced. Wow. I felt like somebody, like I'd gone to the chiropractor, and he just like, how you like just put his hands right on my spine, and everything just released and connected. And I felt like I was sitting taller. I felt lighter.
I felt like something popped into place.
Yeah, and then what did you say? You said something.
Oh my God, I've already forgotten.
It was like, oh, that was better than Pepto or something.
Oh yeah, because that's the thing, is sometimes with me when my energy is unsettled, I like it can be a stomach thing. Yes. And so I like, it's funny because I'll take Pepto sometimes, but I'm like, wow, I just held these stones, and I'm like, that's better than Pepto. Like that's actually, and for like you probably still need Pepto, but also, I don't know. I am really impressed by how effective
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. But it brings me back to what we were wanting to talk about today too, which is manifesting. And I guess this is the thing, is like, I was that person that like, okay, so Bryn's not here, so we can't really talk about Bryn. We should do an episode with Bryn here.
That'd be so fun.
But Bryn is so funny because Bryn, I love you, but you literally manifest by just thinking about it, and boom, it just happens.
Yeah.
And Nora and I have always liked the little things, the pretty candles, the pretty stones, the things, like they're very important to us. You have beautiful altars, and all of these are super important if you want them to be important. But I guess the lesson with Orion was like, you don't even need stones in your hand. You can just say earth and sky, and the magic is done. You don't mess it up by thinking about it as it's happening or afterward thinking about it. And I went, oh, I like that simplicity.
I like
right
that
now.
too. Because, yeah, that's the thing is I'm like a big proponent of like empty-handed magic.
Ooh,
like,
what is that?
So, it's basically the practice of like practicing any sort of magic that you'd use any sort of tools for, but without any tools. Yeah, I'm describing it horribly.
Actually, it was so beautiful. What you say is horrible actually just smacked me in the face in a good way.
No. It's like basically you don't like all the tools that we have, like they're great, they can be supportive, but you can do everything just you because you have that energy, you have the consciousness, you have the connection to the divine. You don't need anything more than that. However, there are times, right? Like, and I've talked with all sorts of people in my life about this. And if anyone's seen like Kiki's Delivery Service, yeah.
Yes.
So Kiki's Delivery Service, there's this part where Kiki, she's a witch, but she loses her magical abilities. And her artist friend, takes her in and they hang out in the woods at her cabin. And she tells her about this time where she just suddenly couldn't paint. And this is something that people go through. And it's not like a one and done in your life, I don't think. But there are times where, it could be the sport you play. It could be art. It could be, and for me, sometimes it's magic. But there are times where you just go through a period where you're not quite trusting yourself.
Yeah.
You lost the spark. You lost you lost it.
Yeah.
For a bit, right?
Yes.
And in those times, I can't do empty-handed magic. Like there are times where I'm just overthinking. I'm not quite where I need to be.
Yes.
And that's when tools are really helpful because it's like, okay, I am burning the sage. Like normally I'll try to cleanse everything without tools. I'll just try to do it with my magic. But there are times where I'm questioning that. I'm rethinking that, which undoes all the magic.
Yeah.
So sage can be great because I'll just burn some sage. It's like, okay, I know. I smell it. I see it. I feel it. I can connect my senses to the sage. I can ground into that. And I can trust that it is done. You know what I mean?
I
the trust
totally
is what's
do.
needed.
Holy shit. Well, you just blew my mind because when you were describing the movie, it was, that point in the movie in Kiki's Delivery Service, that also feels like a dark night of the soul.
It is.
And then when you said it's okay to lean on actual things, tools again, and it's not leaning on, it's just using them to go, yeah, I know these things work too. And I know I have it within me. And it's reminding yourself of what you already know. It goes back to the beginning of our conversation when we sometimes have to have people in our lives that remind us of things that kind of came up, that help them. And they remind us with the same advice. Remember that advice you gave me?
Yeah.
So that's what these tools are if we choose to use them. And so it can be empty-handed magic. But this like literally is like a parallel conversation about dark night of the soul and manifesting.
It is. Yeah, I don't even, because it's also interconnected, right?
They're
like,
totally interconnected.
No, and I think it is funny how it does. It really circles back to that idea of like we're always reminding each other. And sometimes it's like, I'll be the one who's going through, hey, I feel like I lost my touch. Like, I don't know why I can't do magic right now. And then, you connect with someone and they remind you like, hey, it's okay. Like you've got tools, you can come back to this. And then sometimes with that same person, they'll go through that with like their sport or something else they do. And I'll be like, hey, but you've built up all these skills. We all go through these periods. It'll come back when it comes back.
Exactly.
And I think they even talk about these periods in The Artist's Way, which I love that book. It's become kind of like a cult classic again. Like, I don't know. I know it's from like, I think like the 90s. But I know, like, a lot of people in my generation, like, we've been starting to pick it up and, like, get into that sort of thing.
You've been telling me a little bit about it, but share with us, because most people, I can put the links in the show notes, because it sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's so crazy how it showed up in my life, too. It showed up, like, out of the blue. Like, So it was last summer.
Yeah.
I was in Breckenridge to watch my partner play a hockey tournament. And we went and visited this little, like, used bookstore. And it's a hole in the wall. It's messy. It's the best place ever.
Yes.
And
I can just smell it right now as you describe it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Old books and
all of that. And you can find the best books there. Like, and the magic of it, we went back this year. You find whatever you need. Right?
It's like a Harry Potter room.
Yeah, it is. I swear to God. And the Artist's Way was there. And it started me on this journey. And I then got used copies for all these friends and sent it out to people. And it's really cool. And then some people sent it out to more people. So it's neat. Like, but it's this book about how to, like, heal your inner artist, and, like, it's a spiritual journey. And it approaches it as a spiritual journey. And it doesn't matter if you're atheist or any religion, like,
No.
but you got to be open to the fact that it's a spiritual journey, right?
Yeah.
And so they'll bring up things like synchronicities and looking for those, and, you know, manifesting and abundance, and fixing how you see abundance, fixing how you look at yourself, like, you know, the trauma that you have, seeing how, like, hey, like, I don't know, if mom and dad didn't like your art or something, that could still be impacting you. Yeah. You know, or that's, like, a really rough example.
Right.
But you can get into specifics in your life, and you can let that stuff go, and, you know, heal those things. And it is such a cool journey.
Are they daily exercises that you're doing then to kind of keep, like, cultivate the artist within you and connect to that? It's
like a weekly.
Is it? Okay.
It's like a weekly thing, and each week has a theme. And so you read a section, but then there are exercises you have to do. And it will, like, one week will be about abundance. And it's like, well, do you believe in scarcity? Do you think that everything is limited? Do you think your art isn't worth that much? Like, you start, and then the exercises force you to really write about that, to think about that. Like, and there are daily things you have to do throughout the whole thing, right? Where it's like, she really recommends, like, daily pages. And I know you do that. I think Molly does that. Like, I try to do that. Like, God bless me. Like, sticking to things is, like, I always want to, but I suck at it. Routine, I try, and then I always get off my routine. But it is really excellent. Whenever I do them, I feel incredible. It feels like you just released all this stuff, you know?
Yes.
And that's the point, like, is to release.
That's what it seems like. It seems like you're getting real with it, and you're letting go of karmic baggage that is in your way, that you aren't even aware of until you do, like, that exercise or whatever.
It is. It's trying to take things out of the not aware state, right? The shadow, and pull it in front of you so you can look it dead in the eyes. And it makes it easier, because then you're like, oh, like, I'm not real, like, my art is actually, I can make anything, right? Like, I can learn any skill. Yep. But what was holding me back was, maybe it's like, you know, I was worried that what I offer isn't unique enough, or I was worried that this would be too vulnerable, or, you know, whatever. I mean, the
things are,
whatever the things are.
And once they're out there on paper, they don't have the same power. Yeah, it's like we were talking about, I think it was last week, what is time? But a couple weeks ago, we were talking about nightmares, and how once you say the nightmare to your partner, it doesn't seem that scary. Well, part of it is you can't convey the fullness of it, because you can't drop them into that space and go, there were all these other feelings around it besides these words. I'm taking a 5D experience and compressing it into a 2D and giving it to you.
Yeah, that's so true.
So that does it. But then second of all is, once you put words to it, you're like, oh, that wasn't scary at all. And you kind of laugh at yourself in a way.
It can give you that space. I think you made that point that, it, like, you're taking out dimensions. Yeah. Like, there's aspects that you taught me this, and I was like, it's weird, because the dream can be scary, but you just can't express it. Yeah. And you're right. It's those things that you can't, it's the feelings that you have in the dream. It's the 3-dimensional feeling of things looming around you, or, you know, the smells, all those, the details that you just can't
convey. Yeah. But then you take it in this instance, and you're having you have hang-ups, and you don't know what they are about getting in your way as an artist. Yep. And you say, oh, it does come back to that time my mom told me, you know, in my instance, my mom told me, it doesn't matter that you're getting straight A's and your projects are the ones they're showing in the art lecture hall of 1,500 kids. If you do that, I'm not going to give you a dime for your school. Wow. Because you can't make money as an artist. And that was a hang up I had for years and years and years. And it's like, so your whole experience with the Artist's Way of taking those obstacles. Some of them are inner governors and putting them on a piece of paper. So you're pulling them out where they have this almost spectral nature, this like overarching kind of looming nature, like a nightmare. And you pull them down and put them on a piece of paper and go, oh, well, that's bullshit. I can make a living with this. Yeah. And wow, I've looked at it square in the eye. It's
so true. No, it's with everything, whether it's art or just like your life, like it is so helpful to know where you're coming from. Because, like, there will be times where I will, in a situation that is very safe, I'll freak out. Like, and I'll catch myself, I'm not freaking out at people, but internally I'll go into that zone of, like, panic, wounding. And it's something very simple. Someone's mood shifted in a conversation. And, like, with my childhood, that instantly makes me feel unsafe. That makes me feel really scared. And I will have to calm down and remind myself, hey, everything's okay. Like, I am perfectly fine.
Yep.
Like, everything is stable. Wow. But it helps to know that, because if you don't know that, something I can end up doing is I can put that on other people. Yeah. I can just be like, oh, you made me so scared and you freaked me out. It wasn't really them, though. It was my trauma. Wow. If I didn't have that trauma, I probably wouldn't have freaked out in the situation. So it's not them. It is my own trauma that's causing it. Yeah. So it's so much nicer to understand my trauma and not be like, putting that, like projecting that onto every trigger of the trauma, because it's not their faults,
Okay, but also, and I know you're not asking for this or saying this, but I just need to hold your hand for a second.
Oh,
I'm sorry for the part I played in causing that trauma in your life, about you feeling like a mood shifted, having to be hyper aware of that, because wow, the seas could change really fast and it could get really mean and angry and passive aggressive because of that. So I love you, and I am so sorry for my part in that, for doing that to you. And I just want to put it out there. I love you so much.
I love you. And I forgive you so wholeheartedly, because I really understand. Like, I understand, because I am a messy human.
Thank you for even trying to understand. Thank you for even trying, but it's not your job to have to understand this adult that was doing these things to you that were never your fault. And it was never your fault to fix. It was never your job to fix.
I know, but
that's it. I just wanted to say I love you.
I love you. And I love you so much.
I love you so much too.
And I really get it. Like, I really do. Like, it's incredible, because I've become an adult, right?
Yeah.
I've been an adult, and I've learned, right? Because I have done, out of my wounding, out of my trauma, out of my, just suffering, and unconsciousness, all of those things. I have hurt people. I have been off the rails sometimes, right? And like on my journey, it gave me so much empathy. It gave me so much empathy, because I don't know whose family lineage right now wouldn't have pain,
such a truth,
and suffering and darkness and those things. But I think that when you realize how it's trickled down to you, it really gave me empathy for like grandparents, people who have done things where I was just like, I just don't know. They've done such harm. There has been these complicated things in my family, right?
Yeah.
And it was easy to just demonize people. And just say, oh, I would never do anything like that. Like, I can't believe they did that. And I can, but when you catch yourself at that really low point, just suffering with like the mental health, the trauma, all of these things, right? And you catch yourself at that low point, starting to become that. Mm-hmm. It was a bad moment for me. And it was really good for me to catch that and change and address that and see, wow, there is this darkness in me and I need to address that. Like, it also gave me so much empathy, right?
Yeah.
For everyone. Because it's like, holy shit, there is a way to get to that point. Yep. And if you don't have the realization of where you are, and if you don't have the support to help you turn your boat around, I can see how it can get worse.
Yep.
Right? And I just feel so lucky that, I had support to help me see where I was at and to change. Like, to lovingly just be like, this isn't okay. You're crossing boundaries and this isn't all right. But you can change. And I really appreciate that. And I really appreciate those people. And I really appreciate the grace that I received.
Grace is such a good word. And mercy for yourself. Yeah. Because ultimately, if you and I do believe this, in my it's only been a couple glimmers, but I have felt, when I felt connected to the great big pool of everything and everyone, I realize I have to send love to the person that murders me. If that happens,
Wow.
I have to, because that's a version of me. They are me. I am them.
Wow.
And so it kind of goes back to that. And it's interesting because it's been a journey for me. And I remember Bryn gave me a piece of advice that I think about often. It was during the COVID lockdown, and I had my list and I go, I don't even know what I need to accomplish today. And Bryn goes, well, I think with everything going on, maybe just, maybe put on your to-do list, I won't be an asshole today. And I think of that every day. And she probably didn't cuss at the time, but she just basically said, I think that we can all just put that on our list. And if we can live up to that threshold, we can just check it off at the end of the day. And that was enough for the day.
Wow.
And I tell myself that every day is, what my goal is today? To not be an asshole. And then sometimes I add another goal, which is, what if I lighten someone else's load? Just send them love kind of unexpectedly. And it's not this kind of toxic thing, because I've confessed on the podcast about my cord cutting and how I found out I was nourishing this inner vampire in me and this fake happy me by pulling other people's energy non-consensually from them. Wow. And so I'm not doing that anymore. So what I do in the morning is I clear out the vessel of the dream life, what I've been doing in my night swimming, and I cut all those ties and tethers. I check for cords. Did I grow any cords to other people yesterday and today? And then I secure and strengthen my vessel and make it so that I'm relying on me today. I'm just relying on me. So that's what I've been doing, right?
I love that, because part of it is just caring for yourself. Because I think
I never even thought about it that way, but it's basically, I don't want to do harm to other people. I don't want to be an asshole. So I'm just going to make sure my vessel is whole and complete, right? A little glass shell that just keeps me from trying to pull other people's energy. And then
I'm so sorry, this popped into my head just related to that part. Like, I feel like part of that trauma, like part of why we're putting this energy out to other people is, we've, for whatever reason, we've been in a place where we feel like we need help. Like, we feel like we need support.
Yes.
And we feel like maybe we're broken in a way where we need support.
Yeah.
And, like, I've been there. I can empathize. Like, it is a huge revelation to realize, like, maybe what I need is to just care for myself really diligently.
Wow.
Like what you do, like waking up and doing that, like that is caring for yourself really deeply. And I find when I really nourish myself, like when I take really good care of myself, the old like codependency residue, it doesn't come knocking because I just feel good in myself.
Wow.
And even if it does come knocking, even if you're not caring for yourself, that's just a reminder to go back and care for yourself more, right? Like, I don't know. It's interesting.
And it goes hand in hand with, I'm trying to find the absolute simplest way, your empty-handed magic.
Yeah.
The simplest way to do things. So, for example, so when you're talking about your self-care and finding the moments, you have to find the moments that just slip away in the day so that it's the easiest way and you are set up for success. And so I'm just saying this to you out of love. And if it doesn't resonate, just throw that shit away. Yeah. But the moment when you kind of wake up and you're still kind of asleep, what if those magical moments, those moments where you're kind of in between spaces, become your self-care moments? And it's just like sending love to yourself. And I don't know if you could capture maybe those fluid seconds before the day begins and you hear a cat barf down the hallway, or, you start thinking about, oh my God, am I behind on the things I was supposed to do today before I've even gotten out of bed? And so you've set the stage and giving yourself that delicious moment of self-care. And I don't know what that is.
Or it's like, it can be, it can happen in the material plane too, right? Like it can be physical. It could be like, sometimes like I don't want to, but I'll be like, no, I'm going to like scrub myself down in the shower. I'm going to make my hair super nice. I'm going to wash my face. Like I'm going to do the full ritual. And sometimes that sounds like so much, like doing my whole self-care ritual, right? But it like, what I tell myself when I'm like, oh, this is so much, oh my God, is I'm just going to take really good care of myself. That's just what I say. I'm like, we're just taking really good care of myself. And when I'm done, I can do all that other stuff I'm excited about doing. But this is like This is ground zero
powerful.
for taking care. It's like what you do spiritually. And
It is.
it's really about what you do, because the physical can have spiritual significance. You have to look at it that way, right?
It is. It's a perspective. I was just thinking of, you're too young to maybe know who Richard Simmons was. He was this exercise guy. He was so sweet and positive. He just passed away last week, but he was an icon to my generation.
Wow.
And where we all really wanted to send all the love, it was well-meaning, but we didn't know what the fuck we were doing, but we just wanted to send love to everybody that needed love. And I don't think that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
And he epitomized that. But he still had it before he passed away. He still had a Twitter thread. He still has it going now if people want to check it out, and it's worth seeing. But he had a simple thing that 4 weeks ago, so this a month before he passed away.
Wow.
He said, before you go to sleep at night, take your feet and point your toes and flex your toes and point your toes and flex your toes, and do it 5 or 6 times. And you'll thank me for the night's sleep that you get.
Wow.
So it's a simple thing that I do every night. But until you said that about your ritual and taking care of yourself, I didn't think about that pointing and flexing is actually me giving love to me physically before I go to bed.
Wow.
It's a ritual.
It is. It's taking care of your body and honoring that, because it's like your vessel here.
Yeah. And you're just kind of released. And it's amazing how I have had 4 amazing nights of sleep because I remembered he told us to do that. And so I've been doing it kind of in his honor before I go to sleep. And it just releases all the physical and spiritual kind of knots that get kind of caught.
Well, you know what's interesting?
What?
Is I'm a believer that we have chakras on the bottom, the soles of our feet, right?
Yes.
And I can feel where mine are, and I don't want to claim where other people's are or whatever, but when I'm trying to activate that, I will kind of flex my feet to really kind of feel it. I will point and flex naturally. And that can kind of help me tap in, and it helps me feel like I'm connected. Those chakras are connecting down to the earth, which is going to drain out the stuff you don't need, right? So it's interesting.
It totally is, but also it's such a balance because if the energy, I don't know how your energy is in a day. My energy used to be so grounded. I was so earth heavy. Wow. That's why I think I would always connect with gnomes and things. And now what I'm learning is actually my energy is more toward in my shoulders, and it is more kind of not the middle. It's not the heart, which I think people might think, but it's more upper shoulder now and throat now. So I have to watch out for that. But it's interesting because your feet, connecting to that chakra, does it help to balance out your overall energy where it wants to gravitate to a certain place?
Yeah, I think it's so interesting because we all get drawn to different parts of the spectrum, right? Of the more spiritual, the more, material. Yeah. But in reality, the balance is ideal in a way. For your health and your experience, I don't know.
It is.
And
your yoga practices.
Yeah.
It's I always want to do plank, and I'm you know what? It's probably time to do there's this thing that Adrian does that's called knocking on heaven's door, where you swing and you swing and you swing and you end up being tingly. And I'm I feel so stupid doing it. And then at the end I go, I'm so glad I did that. I feel so light.
See, that is so funny because I don't know if I say this right, but the Ayurveda system.
Yeah, I don't say it right either. I've never said it out loud. I've only read it.
Yeah, me too, honestly. So I don't know. People might know how to say that, but it's the system that goes with yoga. Yeah, they're a part of each other because there's more than just the physical poses. Yeah, and it is the energy of you and of everything, right? So yeah, there's it's different than there's fire, earth, and air in that system. And they're different than in the astrological system. So don't think of Ayurveda fire as the same as astrology fire. They're different. They're different things.
Yeah. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, because
that's where my mind was trying to go.
Me too, right? But it really doesn't map to that directly that I know of because they have different flavors in a way. I in that system, I'm very air dominant. So I want to do the spinning exercises. Yes, that builds up air. That thing, things all the twists and the bends. I love yoga like that, and that builds up air. well, I have too much air, so that means that too much air can be, you have so many ideas, it's overwhelming.
Wow.
It's hard to start or to finish any of them. It can be anxiety because you're so spun up. You get anxious,
Yes.
right? So I need fire to actually complete things, which, oh my God, it's like abs. And I'll do it. And I like, my best days are probably when I do my abs, but I don't want to.
But you're like gritting your teeth through the whole thing, like,
Yeah, I can't stop thinking about like, what am I going to eat after? Or like anything to distract me when I'm doing it. I'm just like, oh, what am I going to do next? In Earth, it's like those low poses. It's yin yoga where you're spending like 5 minutes in dragon just on one side. And you're like, I want to die. This is so hard. Yeah, literally. And it, like, I did that the other night and it was incredible. And it forces you to have mental fortitude to stick with something uncomfortable. Like, literally, I think we were doing dragon for maybe like 5 to 10 minutes on each side.
Wow.
And I was just sitting there like, I can't, like, how am I going to make it through this? Like, you know, your brain's just like, oh my God. But then when you make it through, you're like, wow, I feel incredible. Thank God I did that. Like, my knees feel really good. Like, my legs have gotten this workout they haven't gotten in forever. And, like, you know, like, your brain, you're like, wow, I learned this mental fortitude to have discipline.
Wow.
But it's interesting. I didn't know you were, like, because, you know, like, you don't know someone's energy balance. It's internal, you know?
Yeah, it is. It's more like, it is more, definitely more earth. It's like, I am the toadstool, naturally, I think. And I'm like, everything wants to be low. I want to be sitting, and even when I'm stretching, I'm like, want to be laying on the floor and stretching. And it's like, wait, I have to stand up. Whenever Adrian says, we're going to get up now, I'm like, really? We're going to do mountain pose. And then we're going to do this. And I'm like, and then it's the same thing as you. It's literally like this squirrel is trapped in a cage in my head. Just like gnashing on the bars. And then I go, at the end, I go, and then she always has a point of like, and how do you feel? And I'm like, you know, I'm thinking of cuss word to her. And then I go, oh, wait a second. I actually feel really good. So I needed that. The thing I fought against, I needed so badly.
And I think that's that nice balance is, you know, you're pushing yourself, you're learning how to exist in discomfort, which is really good for life.
Right.
It's really good. But then afterwards, like, you've got to enjoy the fruit of that, which is like really feeling like, wow, my hamstrings just feel incredible. Like, wow. Because I do that too. Sometimes, like, you know, they've shown that monks, like, the way they feel pain is different than the average person. Yeah. So when they put them in pain and they study their brains, right? And then they compare that to, like, some civilian who doesn't really meditate, like, you know, like me or something. But, like, when they compare it, the monk feels the pain more intensely when it's happening. Okay, so they're more present for the pain, and they're going to feel more of it. But when the pain ends, they can see in the brain that they stop feeling the pain. Whereas when someone like me, it's like, I'll feel the pain less when it's happening, but then I will continue to feel the pain after it's happening.
Whoa.
And it will, like, fade out.
I didn't even know that people experience pain differently because you just blew my mind. So when I was a little girl, I didn't know that they were migraines. Nobody even knew, told me they were migraines, but I'd come home from school and the trick to me to getting over, I don't know what it was, but this is what I would do is I would push the place where it hurt the most in my head. And and in that way, I would intensify the pain so much so that then it's like, after that, it felt like a relief and it would start fading away. So I made the pain the worst that it possibly could be. And then it was like, okay, I'm acknowledging this and I'm making it the worst it could possibly be. So anything after that, when I released my finger, was a relief.
Because you're feeling it fully.
Yeah.
I get that. That's like, that's what I hear a lot from all sorts of different people, and I practice it myself, where it's like when I'm in deep pain, it's just feeling it as acutely as you can. I don't know how it heals it. I don't know how it helps.
Either.
I can't even comprehend, but
I don't
that
either.
Totally resonates.
Isn't that interesting? And and that's the thing is like, there was some comedian and he had a really funny joke about it. So I won't try to paraphrase. I don't even remember it. But the basic kernel of the joke was that, like, why are you doing this to yourself? You know, your pain is actually your brain perceiving what your nerve endings are doing. Like it's your nerves reaching up to your brain going, now we're going to feel some pain. And it's like, you're causing that yourself.
Wow.
You know, if you can, and maybe what we're doing is going, I see you pain. I know that hurts. And you don't have to send the signal up to my brain because I recognize you. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, you're like, I've received it.
I've received this information, so you don't have to send it up to the brain where it's really going to blow up, right? Yeah. We don't need to do this.
We got it. Message received.
But we all know there's like a delay in pain. Like when you burn yourself and you don't quite feel it right in the instance. There's always a delay to get up to your brain so that it can then doubly, quadruply torture you.
But it's interesting how maybe if we were like just like super present, super mindful, there would be less of a delay and things would be more acute. But then, you know, because last night, or I guess it was like 2 nights ago, like I was doing that yin yoga. Yeah. And just absolutely like, it felt like I was just murdering like my knees.
It sounds like Nora.
Yeah, I did. It felt like it was like a half an hour.
I won't be able to walk after this. I can hear my inner dialogue going, ah.
No, literally, I was just like, oh, but how am I going to make it through? But then like when we'd stretch them out afterwards, I felt that delay. I felt the delay where I was still... The pain was lingering. Like I don't want to say pain because I wasn't like in pain, but like discomfort.
Yeah, discomfort.
The discomfort lingered, and I was like, "That's funny," because I know because of that study, it's probably gone. But then I just feel into what felt good, and I'd be like, "Wow, it feels so good to release this thing."
That's amazing.
So it's kind of interesting to kind of notice it, but I don't know.
Totally,
it'd be interesting to see how it changes. Like meditation is one of those routines that I want to get into more, but you know, me and routines,
dude,
we struggle.
Yeah, but dude, there's this part of me that's like, I think about the Thich Nhat Hanh book, you know, Be Free Where You Are, and he's like, make everything a meditation. Like, I love make that. Brushing your teeth a meditation. Like, you know, make everything you do a meditation. Make eating your food. You helped me before I'd even read that book to see that he taught people that, you can make chewing your food a meditation. It's an acknowledgement of the elements in that morsel of food, and it's giving thanks, and it becomes a meditation.
Yeah,
he's
it's
like,
amazing.
Walking to the bathroom in your prison stall can be a meditation. And so it's like capturing those, and I'm saying in the easiest way possible, but all I'm saying is in the most... It's almost, there's a part of me that says that's cheating because it's so straightforward and easy. Yeah. But it's not. It's actually the magic, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Applying that mindset to the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You know, I think that is huge. Like, you know, when you go places and when you're experiencing things. I think that's the same with like the yoga, right? Like doing what you don't want to do. It's such great practice because in life, shit is going to happen that you don't want. Like, you're going to be like, you know, like you might get injured. Someone you love might get sick. Yeah. Like, you know, something might go to shit, right? Yep. And it's going to happen. And if you have trained yourself mentally where you can cope. Yeah. You can cope well in situations where things are not how you want them. That's awesome. And it's hard to test that, but yoga is a great way where you can actually test that. Yes. And you can push yourself to a place where you're uncomfortable and you can be like, okay, we're going to sit here and we're going to force myself to cope with this.
Yes.
I found that incredible. Like
that is incredible.
I've been doing yoga for years and I didn't know about that until like this last year. I think it's thanks to Brett Larkin. I love her yoga. Yeah. And she taught about that. And that's how I learned it is from her. Like I think I read her book and I practiced yoga with her videos and I never made that connection. It's genius. It is
genius. Well, because the secret sauce to it is that you no longer are, because you're in control of it, right? Yeah. And so you're saying, I'm going to do yoga. I'm going to push my limits of discomfort and I'm going to like keep leaning into it and not close my eyes and plug my ears through it. And then the magic is that when you are given those instances, so then all those alarm bells don't go off. You don't overinflame your whole system spiritually, physically when it happens because you've been practicing that mindset.
You've been practicing
without those alarm bells going on in like a safe way.
Or even, you know, weird? Maybe the alarms are still going off, right?
Right.
But you're learning how to not react to them.
Yes.
It's like, I'm staying in this pose even though all the alarms are going off and I don't want to be here. And that's like in other parts of life, right? Like sometimes, I don't know, sometimes I have a Herculean day of chores, right?
Right.
Like, and there's just, I just don't, like, I know it's my turn to like do the cat boxes and do all the dishes or whatever. Like, and I know, like I've slept on those things.
Yeah.
And like, this is my own doing. Sometimes just getting through all of that, like I don't like getting dirty. I don't like the process of any of it. Our cat litter, it's like heavy and we have multiple litter boxes and it's heavy to like get that stuff to the trash. It's just, the whole thing, it's unsavory to me. It's funny how these yoga practices have made that easier. Because I'm just like, it's just a little bit longer. It's just a little bit longer and we're done. Wow. Right? It feels easier actually than the yoga. Wow.
Give me the litter box over dragon pose, 5 minutes each side any day. Is what you're saying.
Yes, literally. I'm like, I will.
I'm like, really? We're going to do knocking on heaven's door for 10 more seconds? I feel like a goon. And then I look out the window and go, I hope the neighbors are not watching me. And then I'm like, well, actually enjoy the show.
I love that.
Wait, before we close, because we're getting close to close, I want to know, because right behind you, and people can't see it because we're not on video, but is your beautiful work. So I would be remiss. Please tell us a little bit about your company, where the seed of the passion is from, and where your inspo comes from. And then at the close, I'm going to put all the links in the show notes if anybody wants to check it out.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, so it's a sole proprietorship. So it's just me. And that's why it takes so long to do everything, because I have to, I've got to create new art pieces. I've got to create like jewelry. I've got to come up with testing them, making sure they're durable, making sure they're comfortable. But I also have to do like filing my taxes every quarter. And, so there's like, it's a balance as a sole proprietorship. And I've learned so much just doing this. But yeah, I'm in the process right now of building out my catalog, right? Because it's just me. So I'm, right now, I have a few things up there, but I want to really start expanding that, because I have so many things that are currently partway completed, and I have so many things that are in my head, and I'm just working feverishly to try to get those out. So in a couple months, I'm going to have like a much larger catalog. Wow. Right now it's really limited, and it just turns out that the things I could ethically source first, they're a little more expensive, So I want to build out more like price variety in my
like
work,
price
right?
diversity. I think that's amazing.
So yeah, that's what I'm working on. But it's all the thing with my business that's taken me so long just to get to this launch is that my ethics, right? I don't want to profit off of suffering. I don't want to profit off of people suffering, animals, the earth. That's hard in today's world, because it is, people are dishonest. I've bought materials where they said, oh, this is, made in North America, and it hasn't been, and it hasn't even been what they said it was. I bought things that were supposed to be wax that were then, it's like, oh no, it's from China, and it's like, I don't even know, it was like silicone or something.
Weird chemicals.
Yep. But it's cool because I've found businesses that actually are suppliers who they actually have labor laws in place, right, in their countries. So I know that people are being treated well, they're being paid for their labor. I know that they're treating the environment well because they have regulations on that. They're going out of their way to do things ethically. And so that I can get wax from them, wire from them, metals from them. Yeah. And it makes a difference. But it's taken a while, right, to get to that point where I could find those supplies. And it's hard because a lot of things in our world today are plastic.
Oh, totally.
Right? And it's useful. Like resin, I can make a lot of cool stuff with resin, but I respect if other people do. It's just personally, it doesn't quite fit with my ethos. So it's like, I've been having to find new ways to do all sorts of things. And now I'm just slowly rolling those out. And it's exciting. And
they're beautiful, by the way. I mean, they're absolutely stunning. And also, even the packaging. This is the thing, is like, I feel like this is your business. And I can just butt my butt out. But people need to see how you're even packaging it to ship to people. Every single thing, even your shipping labels, they have passed your ethical sniff test, which is a deep dive. And that's what's amazing to me. And it's like receiving the best gift ever. And you don't feel bad about it, where it's like we are shifting. When people say that this economy is shifting, right? It looks different than what I think people envisioned. I think they thought that we would just manifest things into our hands. It's like the Jetsons meets, Damien Eccles magic, right?
Yeah.
But it's not. What it is what you're creating, which is a business that everything is picked on purpose. Everything is hammered and crafted on purpose. And it's not the instant gratification anymore. It's like, you will love this for a lifetime. And that's how it's meant to be. And you did harm to none in order to enjoy and receive it.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because the packaging, first of all, I didn't want to be putting out packaging like that. And second of all, I don't like receiving it. I really don't. And
I don't
it can feel like a chore.
Yeah.
Because now I have all these different things, all this wrap and that wrap. And then it's the worst chore when they're like plastic that you can't recycle. You just gotta
toss it, and then you feel awful.
And it was just for like one little thing.
Yeah.
No, so it's been incredible to be able to source ethical packing materials. Like, even I forget the name of this, like the backing, the sticker backing for my shipping labels.
Yeah.
That's recyclable, so I can just throw that in the recycling bin.
Which is unheard of.
It's awesome.
Not to interrupt you, but
you
had said, and then I have things in my head, and I'm surrounded by things that I want to steal. I told Nora, like, I wore a dress with pockets so that I could maybe steal something as I'm here. And that's so awful to say. Like, there's these gorgeous notebooks. There's these, about the earrings. I have actually a bracelet, which I don't know if they'll ever be on there because the links are so time intensive, labor intensive to do. But it's like, I know some of the things that are on the horizon, and then I'm like, wait, what's in your brain? I want to literally, this is me having to cut cords after this, my toxic cords, to try to go, I want to know what's in your brain, because what you're creating is magical.
I so appreciate that.
It's very special. It's very powerful. It's very beautiful. It's very timeless. It's very you. And every single link, every single thing that you're doing is honoring all of yourself as you do it.
Yeah, and it's honoring everyone involved, right? So
totally
the people I have to support, what's the word?
Source
the materials from.
Yeah.
Like, they're being honored. Like the places that these materials are coming from, like the earth. I prioritize North American materials, not because I'm like, rah, we do everything the best in North America. Like, no, it's because shipping takes such an immense toll on the environment. It's shocking. Like, you've got to read about it if you don't know, but it helps to find people in North America, because then that didn't have to cause all that pollution, right?
Yep.
So it's been kind of cool, and I'm hoping that I'm seeing more businesses that I am working with and others are working with that are more local, that are making these things, that are trying to do it. Not only is this recyclable, and like, is this, I have paper that's not just made out of, recycled materials. It's like they use green energy to do so.
Oh, that's amazing.
Because if you don't use green energy, then recycled products, like the energy it takes to produce them can actually still have a really bad carbon footprint.
It makes sense.
There's so much that goes into what makes things ethical, right?
Wow.
And it's just doing the best you can with what you have, right?
And you, again, it's your business. I'm so sorry, but I can't help but say, people also, like, this whole process to find things, to source things and find out that they're legitimate. They're not, you had the fakers, the fake stuff. Yeah. Are you going to offer that information to people? Do you think eventually you might be like blogging about some of those experiences? Because that can teach people.
Yeah.
Like how to avoid those pitfalls.
Or just like, just the considerations into what makes things ethical.
Yes.
I mean, it's a lot of time right now. And I think eventually I do want to make a blog and just talk about some of the stuff I've learned.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, on my website, I talk about ethics, and I do these little essays because I've learned all of this in this process, right, of trying to figure out where do these things come from?
Yeah.
Where are they made by, and how do they impact our environment? And how does their transport impact our environment? Like, there's so many things that go into it.
Right.
And it was shocking to find out that modern slavery, first of all, it exists, but second of all, the thing that shocked me is that it's rising. Yearly. It is increasing, right?
That's sad.
It's really sad, and people don't know. But I've been a consumer too, and you get lied to all the time. Like Etsy, like, you have to reverse image search and try to find out, is this being drop shipped? Is it not? But there is a lot of unethical labor, in fashion, in, like, you name the industry, and it's happening not just like in one country. I mean, the country I happen to live in, the United States, like, it's happening here too.
Yeah.
It, like, where people in, especially in like the clothing industry, are getting paid like cents for an hour.
Wow.
Right? So they're getting paid so little and they're working way more hours than they should be.
Yep.
Like, then things like this are happening under the table in all sorts of countries, and it's a serious issue. So I think these things, like, I would love to talk more about them.
I love that you do speak about them. And also, I don't know why, but I feel like you could be, not that you're looking for any other side hustle, but goddamn, like corporate America could tap into this and learn how from you. You could be an ethical, you could be an ethical sourcing professional. Like, it's crazy because you have done so much work, and it is such a beautiful website. I will link to it in the show notes so people don't have to deep dive for it. It's going to be right there. And
yeah, it's growing, right? So, come back in like a month, 2 months.
Add your name to the mailing list, because then they can contact you, and you can be the first one to know about new products that are released.
Yes, that's what I do now. Is just get on that mailing list, and I'll let you know when new things are dropping.
And your Insta.
Yeah, I've got an Instagram that I'm trying to grow, and no, it's a process, right?
It's a process.
We're just taking it where it's at and working with it,
I'm really proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you've been so supportive through the whole process.
You are doing something so important for the world. I think that you won't even be able to comprehend the ripples that you're casting, even with what you have shared with me on the podcast and the listeners today, because they're going to be thinking twice about it. It's so easy to go, I need item X, I can just click on Amazon. It's like, no, go out. Even if you take your feet and walk to your local business and take a look and settle for something that's slightly different, it's so much better because you're supporting the mom and pop store instead of that whole chain of shipping things to you. If you can break it even just once a week, just break the chain. It helps our planet.
I've got to say, it's an intersectional issue, right, too?
Yes, it totally is.
Because, like, if you have very limited money and resources, okay, then you probably, it can be hard to afford ethically sourced things. Like, like, if something's produced in North America above board, because these things can happen, like what I talked about in the fashion industry. Right. But if it's above board and someone's getting paid to do that, our cost of living is just higher in the US, right? To pay your rent and to get food. So that person has to be paid more. We have higher minimum wage, which we need. Yeah. But it doesn't translate very much into making the product like that much more expensive. That's really a myth, but it will make it a little more expensive. So if you are dealing with poverty, or if you are in a situation where you are just making it through financially, it doesn't make you a bad person to not be able to afford to get, these really ethically sourced things. Like, you got to do what you can do, right?
Yes.
And doing your best is fine. Like, just, being there for your loved ones and, like, being present with the people you're with, like, that is, like, probably the biggest gift you can offer, right? Yeah. And anything else, it's gravy.
It's just icing. It's icing on the cake. Oh, that's such a good thing to remind us all. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to Curious Cat. Did you know that we're in the top 2% worldwide? I don't even know how that happened. We're there, fam. I don't even know why. It just makes me so excited to share with you what comes onto my plate. And remember, after the closing, there's something special at the end. I have the new segment that's all the weird headlines I could grab for you this week. Until next week, stay curious. I love you. It's time for the Curious Q, a quick rundown of the week's weirdest headlines. The first story comes from Mysterious Universe's Brian Swanser, titled Truckers' Strange Encounters with the Unexplained. Find links to the entire article in the show notes. Quote, some of the creepier trucker stories seem to be wreathed in the paranormal. Take the story of Reddit user MPOBOY, who says his brother had a very odd experience as a trucker in the 2000s. Apparently, he had been driving through Pennsylvania on his way back to New Jersey when he pulled into an area behind two other trucks in order to get a little sleep. The night would not be peaceful, as he writes. In the early morning, he heard someone bang on his right door. He quickly jumps from the sleeping compartment and grabs his bat. As he looks out the window, there's no one there, but now there's a bang on the left side. Freaked out, he looks out that window and there's nothing but silence now. He's trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Seconds later, banging on both doors simultaneously. He said the banging was so loud and heavy that the truck was shaking. Both curtains open. He can see there's no one out there. He quickly jumps in the driver's seat and starts the truck. He sees the other two trucks ahead of him do the same. He said he felt as if they all had experienced the same thing. Strange indeed. A bit more morbid is the story from Reddit user Charlie SI, who was doing a late night trucking run and came to a part of the road that is a huge hill, low point, and then the huge hill again with nothing but forest all around. It was here where he would have his brush with the unexplained, and he says, as I crest the hill, I see an orange van on its side at the very bottom of the hill and a woman standing in a wedding dress next to it. I slow down and see that she is covered in blood. Holy beep. This is way before cell phones, so I slowly pass, taking in her calm expression, her blood-stained wedding dress, the undercarriage of that orange van, and pull over to the right slightly to pass the wreckage. I get out of my car, look back, and nothing. There was nothing over there but empty, dark road. I freak out, speed home, hoping a cop will pull me over. I still don't know what I saw. A very freaky story comes to us from The Mirror and concerns a truck driver who apparently picked up an unwanted and possibly ghostly passenger. The trucker was part of a convoy driving through a region of Argentina when he spotted a somewhat ethereal-looking woman in a black dress at the side of the road. It was odd enough that he checked his rearview mirror as he passed, but saw that she was just suddenly gone. Concerned, he called back to the other drivers and was alarmed when to his horror he was told she was clinging onto the back of his rig as he sped along. This woman apparently held onto the back of the truck for several minutes before vanishing into thin air. The convoy was apparently so spooked they decided to skip their plans to sleep overnight in a near lay-by. There were even apparently photos taken of the spectral woman. From another story on Reddit is the experience of a witness who was at the time a night driver in Pennsylvania when he had a rather strange experience. He says, my first couple years, I was a night driver, so it was hard to see things sometimes. But the one in Pennsylvania was me trying to follow a flatbedder who was hauling serious butt through the mountains. At one point, I start to fall back because I can feel the van starting to lean. It wasn't long after that I reached down to take a swig off the handy monster I had, and I looked up, and there's a guy standing off to the shoulder just outside the tree line wearing what appeared to be some type of soldier's uniform. Looked like Revolutionary era. He had a musket as well. As I approached, I can see him staring right at me, and then he starts walking back into the tree line, still looking at me. Before he manages to make it through the trees, he disappears, like literally vanishes into thin air. I had my windows down and the air in the area got real cold. After about a mile, the air warmed up again. I had a really sad feeling come over me for a while afterward. Needless to say, I didn't stop for the rest of my shift. In another case, it's hard to say if it was paranormal or not, but it's damn creepy all the same. Redditor Bear Like says of what happened to him, was driving north through the mountains of Colorado toward Pueblo, and it was my first time dealing with anything like the Colorado mountains, so I was taking it nice and slow with my hazards on and in the right lane. This was in the spring, and there wasn't much snow on the ground aside from a light dusting. I remember passing another truck pulled to the shoulder on my way way up. Nothing out of the ordinary. However, as I was heading down the mountain, which can be as scary as heck in an 18-wheeler, trust me, I saw the same truck I passed earlier fly by me in the left-hand lane. Now, being passed on the left, going downhill in the Rocky Mountains by another tractor trailer is wild enough. But what really makes this story is this guy's trailer brakes were on fire. He was pulling a load, could tell because the trailer was sealed. And if you know anything about trucks, you know there's only so much braking you're supposed to do before they overheat and, worst case, catch fire. This guy's truck looked like an effing comet as he sped down the mountain at what I thought was surely to be a deadly pace. I grabbed the mic to the radio and called out to him, "Hey driver, your brakes are on fire." I mean, literally on fire. After a few seconds of static, a rough and weathered sounding voice comes back over the speaker of my radio and says, cool as a cucumber, "I know." And he disappeared around a curve. I never saw any wrecked truck, any emergency crews. I did see a discarded fire extinguisher on the ground at the base of the mountain, though. One final trucker account from Mysterious Universe I'd like to share. In other cases, it seems like truckers have stepped through time into some other ghostly realm. According to Today, a trucker and a companion were driving on an 800-mile road trip from Camp Lejeune in North Carolina to Lafayette, Indiana, and at some time at around 1 a.m. in the vicinity of Indianapolis, they were running out of fuel. The witness says of what happened next. Growing up in the trucking industry with my dad, I decided to stop at a truck stop, the man explains. But because the main interstates were shut down due to the weather, they had to get off the highway and search for a truck stop along the back roads instead. We found a smaller truck stop. It had one truck and it was kind of strange. It was just a blacked out truck with a blacked out trailer. There were no real markings on it, nothing distinguishable. There they found a cozy, tidy little diner occupied by a waitress, cook, and a lone truck driver. The pair sat down thinking it was all a little eerie, although they couldn't put their finger on why. Things would only get odder from there after they borrowed some gas money from the lone truck driver in the diner. The witness continues, "I went inside, talked to this driver, and he bought us a cup of coffee. We sat there and talked for about 30 minutes about what was going on and why we were headed where we were and what we were doing. And he gave us $20 for gas. I went outside, pumped our gas, came back in and told him, 'Hey, I really appreciate it. I'll be back,' basically to return the money. When we arrived again around 10 o'clock in the morning, the place is boarded up. It looks like it's been abandoned for years and the truck's gone, but we had just been there. We pull in anyway and find a police officer parked in the lot. We explained what happened just hours before, to which the cop chuckles and replies, 'Oh, you met the ghost of 3. So 2 truckers converse, had a cup of coffee with, interacted with 3 people at a diner that had a fuel pump. I got $20 worth of gas. When I came back, it's been boarded up. If I remember correctly, the cop said it had been boarded up for the last 20 years. The last strange headline I'd like to share with you on the queue comes from Coast to Coast. It's titled, "Angel Photographed Hovering Over Firefighters in Poland." Tim Banal writes, quote, "A remarkable photograph from a fire in Poland shows what appears to be an angel hovering in the sky over the scene. The jaw-dropping image was reportedly snapped last month as firefighters were battling a blaze in the community. The picture was subsequently posted to social media by the mystified fire department, who marveled at the wondrous sight and left their social media users to draw their own conclusions as to what can be seen in the photo. When asked about the anomaly, one of the firefighters who had been on the scene understandably explained that, quote, "I didn't see anything. The work is dangerous. I didn't look around," end quote. He went on to seemingly dismiss any possible otherworldly explanation for the oddity, observing that, quote, "I've seen strange figures in photos taken during our rescue operations before, but I don't know if this is the way the light works or if the wind is causing causing the smoke to look like that, end quote. However, one of his colleagues had a different take on the picture altogether, musing that, quote, if we have such protection from the afterlife watching over us, I feel fairly calm about safety during the operation, end quote. To that end, some have suggested that the eerie figure in the sky was some kind of guardian angel that was protecting the firefighters as they tried to stop the blaze. What's your take on the curious image? Share your thoughts with Coast to Coast AM there and their Facebook page. If you have some supernatural news you'd like me to share, email me the article or your personal account at curious_cat_podcast at iCloud.com. Use the text the show button at the top of the episode to let me know what you think of Curious Q.
Hey, you. Yes, you. Are you looking for a new podcast that appeals to your scientific curiosity, but is also a little bit spooky?
Show me how I died in a past life.
Well, look no further, because this cat is where it's at.
He had concerns about the ethics surrounding AI, feeling they had achieved consciousness.
Curious Cat Podcast examines the shadowy space where science and the supernatural collide. Listen every week with your host, Jennifer Holtz, as she and her guests explore what it means to be a soul in a meat suit.
We were healing karma together. They were all kind of predestined to resolve something.
Listen on all your favorite streaming apps and continue the conversation on Twitter at CuriousCatPodCA, or find Jennifer and all her links at Jennifer L. Holtz, spelled HOTES.com.